Uh, Translation for me is just a mode of experimentation with language, okay? So, from a collective point of view, translation was a means of identifying yourself as a writer. I mean, it was something like this for my generation. Okay, you had to start with translating from European critical theory, European poetry. This gave you voice, you know, in the language you were writing. You were originally writing. I mean, in my case, it was Persian. So, through poetry translation, especially poetry translation, because I'm very much focused on poetry translation, I tried to experiment with a variety of voices that I can choose, okay? I was not very much concerned with the matter of fidelity to the message, okay, because it was poetry in the translation most of the time. And it's very difficult to determine the message that a piece of poetry is giving the reader. There's no message, okay? This is just pure form. So for me, translating poetry was a means of shaping voices in the way I wanted. So yeah, I just tried to experiment with the styles, with tones, with voices, with languages, with different layers of language through my translation. This is how translation shaped my character as a writer in my own language. And this is not just peculiar to me. I think that many writers in my language, Persian, who are able to translate are very much inspired by their attempts in translations.
Right.
And yeah, that's it.
That's really beautiful. So just to conclude, I think I just want to note that I think my example shows that translation can become a way of kind of discovering the other, discovering the wider world. And it seems like your example is showing us that translation is ultimately a means of discovering oneself and finding one's own voice.
Discovering oneself, or I can say the shaping oneself, or fabricating yourself. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Great.